I got the juice, don't need no proof. 100 like the rum I drink that got me over you. And all your nonsense we all subject to. I find my lane and mind my business like I'm supposed to do. Let's have a toast for all the obstacles that got us here. I put my glass up in the air to stimulate the cheers. Not because we made it, but because we making it. I savor the moment, the bouquet forever, ever then. Yeah. In my realm, I watch the times go by. I got the world in my hands, but I can't tame the sky. Dare I try, I might lose my mind. But it'll be all good after I'm done sipping this wine. Gather round.
Toy Story is I think I go back to this all the time. I think Toy Story the original Toy Story is my favorite movie of all time.
Okay, yeah.
And Toy Story 2 I saw a ton. Toy Story the first one. Obviously we were like, it was like what, 95?
Gotta be.
So we were 6.
Yeah.
We were like the perfect age when that came out, and I just like wore the VHS out. Like I would just watch that like constantly. Yeah, that and Space Jam. Were like the two on VHS. I would just constantly watch
back to back.
Back to back.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. But welcome to Clueless Vino, man. Show where a guy like me kicks it with some cool guests and drinks some wine while we're doing it, man. Today I got my guy, Tommy Proffitt. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm good.
Good.
I'm excited.
All right, this is the part where I let people tell them about themselves. So why don't you take the floor, man?
Yeah. I don't know. We went to school together. We went to Randolph Macon. Although I feel like we didn't really hang out too much until after college. We started. We realized we had similar interests.
Yeah.
Sushi.
That's always a good one.
Yeah.
That's
Video games, stuff like that. So yeah. Other than that, I mean, my interests are, a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, video games, big part of my life. I just switched jobs, and I'm at a job where I'm writing now, which
Congratulations,
is
man.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm super excited about that. And then other than that, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Really, it's like work, right? Especially right now, it's like
Yeah.
work, video games. It's not much else.
Yeah. So you said it that we knew each other in college.
Yeah.
We didn't hang out as much, but we knew each other. I think my first memory of you like consistently was the creative writing class we took.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was an experience. Look, I don't want to I don't want to like trash, anyone or anything like that. But like, yeah, that was such a just. I started recently like trying to like trying to like reevaluate stuff.
Yeah.
Different moments and things like that. Yeah. I was thinking about that class and I was like, I think I might have approached that class with just like the wrong mindset. And I think maybe everybody did. Like,
so what do you mean when you say that?
So, you remember there was a lot of like slightly like, I don't know. It was a weird kind of setup.
Yeah.
I feel like there was just a lot of I think at the time, I distinctly remember there being just like we were talking about like rules for poetry or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, what does that mean? Like, what do rules for poetry mean? And of course, we were freshmen or sophomores.
We might have been sophomores.
Sophomores.
Yeah.
And like thinking back about it now, I probably was just being too much of like, I don't know, little shit about it. Like
we were still young. So
yeah.
It's like, I just figured you could write whatever you want. And, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think we, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where, you probably, when you were younger, wrote a lot when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I'm gonna pursue this. I'm gonna do more of this. And so when you take a class like that, and it's kind of, it kind of stops and like sets up, different checkpoints and saying, not like these are the rules, like you have to do this, but just kind of what are some of the common, things that you see. It's tough to like as a kid if you wrote a lot and I don't know, I probably had like a bigger head about it than I should have. I was like, I'm a good writer.
Yeah.
But so So I think it becomes hard, when you have someone say like, what are the rules for something when you're like, I never thought there were rules for this.
So I guess the issue was it was a creative writing class.
Yeah.
So it's like I think you have more freedom to write whatever.
Yeah.
But then like you get there and it's a bunch of rules and a bunch of prompts. It was a bunch of prompts, like
Yeah.
specific scenario prompts where it's like, yeah, do I really want to talk from the perspective of a painting? I don't.
Yeah.
But I can make it work, I guess.
Yeah, and I get it. Like I get it. If you're teaching a course like that, you're gonna have to come up with some of that kind of stuff. But no, I mean it was tough, and I mean it was just one of those things where, again, I think you have kind of like higher expectations.
Yeah.
When you're going into a creative writing course. And you kind of expect it to be, just kind of like, everyone has their own interpretation of what that's going to be. Right. And I think that's what the problem is for courses like that.
If you go into it with the mind state of something totally different, it's going to throw you off.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
To be fair, I did enjoy the class.
Yeah.
Some prompts were worse than others, but, it did feel good, and as a writer, it did feel good when, she chose your story for the class and she, dissected it. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. I did enjoy that part. Did we take Canterbury Tales together?
I definitely took Canterbury Tales. I think we would have had to.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I did not like that class.
It's tough. I mean, I like the idea of Canterbury Tales. Y'all have seen A Knight's Tale, like the movie, Heath Ledger, and I love like that movie, and I love stuff that comes from Canterbury Tales. But yeah, reading the source material,
it's rough, man.
It's rough.
It's so bad. It's not bad as in like bad writing or bad literature. The story is fine. It's just really hard to read.
Yeah. Oh no, it totally is. I mean, and it's not even. I'm gonna get it wrong, so apologies to whoever knows what the correct thing is. But it's Old English or like Middle English or whatever it is. Canterbury Tales. Yeah, it's like it's just you have to. The thing that's annoying about it is, so you spend whatever it is, Monday, Wednesday, Friday in that class, and you start kind of like the first, I would say, like 2 weeks of the class, you're like, I don't know how to read this, and then it gets a little easier, and then class is done. And it's like, I just spent all this time learning how to read this,
and I'm never gonna do it again.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, it's tough. I get the value of it, like 100%. And it's funny, I've thought a lot about, like they talk a lot about like the value of liberal arts education, and having been, in a career and like working for, we've been out for 10 years.
You're loud. You're loud.
10 years. God. So we've been out for 10 years, and there's been so many moments like working. I'm sure you've had this too, where it's just like knowing how to figure something out. Like it's true. Like I think I wouldn't have been able to do stuff like that had I not had to go through like learning how to read Old English. Like you know what I mean? Like
because it presents an obstacle that you're kind of forced to. It's like a sink or swim situation, right? It's like, dude, you have to get a good grade in this class, so you're just gonna have to buckle down and get this done. Yeah. So like, you can't throw too many challenges in front of like us, where we're like, I'm just gonna give up. Like, I'll eventually get to it, even if it doesn't 100% solve the problem or issue. We're gonna push through it.
Yeah.
That's the environment that we were in before this.
And I would say too, I'm curious if you've run into this too, but like, there have been people I've worked with that if, like this explicit instructions aren't like laid out in front of them for everything, every task that they're supposed to do, like they can't do it. They can't figure it out. And my last job was there was a lot of just me just having to like figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And I think I did really well at it because like I said, I mean, we learned how to do that, right?
Right.
And it's funny. I think the longer I've been out of I've been out of college, the more I've appreciated the academic side of things. Yeah. Whereas like when I was in it was rough. Some of the times it was rough. There was some fun stuff. I mean,
of course, yeah.
Did you do were you in the King Arthur class?
I don't think I did the King Arthur class.
That one was a really good one. That was Cole. Professor Cole.
I kind of wish I did do the class.
She was great.
I love Professor Cole. Bro.
Yeah, she was.
I think I only had one class for her. Maybe two. I think it was only one, and it was the Shakespeare class. Bruh, that was the greatest class ever. Because she's so engaging.
She was.
She's so engaging.
Yeah.
And but she's also like relaxed. Like she would sit on the desk, just chilling.
Yeah.
And to teach, I'm like, yeah. I also would, if I wasn't 6'10", sit on my desk.
Yeah. She was probably my hands down, I think, favorite professor there. I mean, but the thing, I mean, I will say, you know, even with some classes that were like not as great. I was thinking about this the other day. Even the classes where I was like I didn't particularly enjoy this. All of my professors, for the most part, I never had any professors that I would say were, with very few exceptions, in the English department, were like terrible. Like you know what I mean? And I don't think any of them would be classified as terrible, but like everyone was like fine. Even if you didn't like the subject matter, like, you know, you could get along with them. And
I don't think there was ever an issue where I'm like, oh, I dread going to this class.
Yeah.
Not only for the subject matter, but for the person teaching it.
Yeah.
I never felt that way. It was strictly about the subject matter. I can't read or watch anything involving a Bronte again.
Yeah.
So
no. Yeah.
She had it. Anna had it on the other day. She was watching. I think it was Jane Eyre. I said, hey, what is this? Like, watch Jane Eyre. I said, turn this shit off.
I know there's a certain level of just it was rough.
Yeah,
it was rough.
I mean, just hands down, it was not a good experience.
Yeah. And again, it wasn't like I still don't fault necessarily like the professor for that. Like I really enjoyed. I enjoyed all the classes I took with her. It was just, again, it was the subject matter.
That's it.
Brontes.
That's all it was.
I couldn't do it. I just couldn't get into it. There was one, I can't even remember what it was, but there was like maybe one or two stories that, in that class, that I think I ended up being like, okay, this is different enough. I like it.
Wuthering Heights was okay.
Wuthering Heights was fine, yeah.
I didn't have an issue with that, but the rest of it.
Yeah. Also, Wuthering Heights just had so much weird stuff. Was that the one where like his wife was like locked in the attic? Is that Wuthering Heights or is that a different one? I don't remember.
Wait, Jane Eyre's the one with the dude was blind, right?
Oh, I think it was Jane Eyre.
Yeah, Jane Eyre. Yeah. Oh, and then the wife burns the jump down.
Yeah. Because we went to see, they did like the movie. Yeah, and it was also that like part of the story just like comes in out of nowhere. I feel like at the very end.
At the end.
Yeah, and it's just like, wait, what? What's happening? Yeah.
Plot twist and climax at the same time. Like, damn.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, like the experience, like I think also too, part of what made that hard was, you know, we were seniors and it was like,
we were ready.
I'm ready to be done.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, I think I would have taken all the classes I took. Maybe like would have changed like one or two. But I think for the most part, I liked all of the like academic stuff.
It helps every
Yeah.
Like, now if you ask me about any other class I took, oh my god, I changed so many.
Oh, for sure.
So many.
Yeah.
I took an art history class. I don't know why. I need the requirement.
Yeah.
That was the one available.
Yeah, the requirement classes are the ones that get you. I was lucky because I came in with like, I think I had like dual bio credits, so I didn't have to take. Thank God I didn't have to take.
No science.
No science.
Oh, you got lucky.
I got so lucky.
I had a couple of history and a couple English history.
Yeah, and then for math I took logic.
Oh my god. The greatest.
It was so good.
You're like, wait, it has words in it?
Yeah.
Oh, you have made a horrible mistake.
Yeah, it was. I was so grateful to have taken that. Like,
I feel like I told the story before, but it was freshman year. You know, they give you the classes, and I had calculus. Went in first day, just sat there. I was like, yep, got up, went to my computer, dropped.
Nope.
Nope, not doing this.
Yeah, absolutely
No.
not.
No. I think I ended up taking like $5.99 or something.
It's funny. I don't know. I've completely forgotten like any of the math. It was so long ago. I feel like.
See, here's the issue. Like for years, it's one of my biggest pet peeves that I'm never gonna. I'm gonna go to the grave upset about it. It's what did the math teacher in high school tell you every time? They're like, you have to show your work. I'm like, why can't I just use a calculator? You're not gonna have a calculator on you every day. Wrong.
Got
it told me every.
I got two.
Day.
I got one here. I got one here.
I want to go into every math teacher I've been around. Like, yeah, you lied to me.
Frustrating. Yeah. No, I'm so against that. There's a lot. Obviously, there's a lot with education that needs to be fixed, and that is on the list of like, just be real. Like, you know what I mean? Of like what you need in the real world. I will say I think like there are concepts still in like higher level math. Like I wouldn't say like don't teach like trigonometry and calculus and stuff. Like
do that.
Yeah. There's still stuff you can get out of it.
Cause then, right. And then because you can use that stuff, right? And you never know when you might have to use that stuff.
Yeah.
But don't present it to me that the reason you're making me show my work is because I won't have a calculator. That's not true.
Yeah. Very few times in my like working world, in my career I should say, have I had to show my work for like anything I've done.
It's like I'm not a scientist. They're not gonna be like, did you complete this? Show me your like. Yes, you should show them how you got to the final resolution. But me just chilling at my desk, no, I'm gonna use a calculator every time.
Show your work is there's something there for just knowing that like the student's doing the work and not looking up answers, which like
totally understand.
I get, but also if you're doing it in school, if you're doing all of your work in school, how are you gonna look up the answers? You know what I mean? Like, so that gets into another piece of like, do we really need homework? But
it's times I feel like they'll end up changing as we go along. But. All right, man. You want to get into our first one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, first of all, I didn't even bring up the whole new setup.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I should have. But yeah, this is the new setup for Clueless Vino, man.
Woo!
We're lounging now.
I love it.
Yeah, we're lounging now.
It's
And I'll probably post it later, but Clueless Vino glasses. Because, Father's Day actually came around this year and was amazing.
That's awesome. That's a great Father's Day gift.
It is, man, for sure. So you brought us today Sonoma County Storyteller.
Yep.
Sauvignon, man. Okay.
So I've never had this. I actually spent I was looking for something, especially after Cassie came on and she had her 7 wine.
Yeah.
It was perfect. So I was like looking for something. I was like, oh, what's something that's like there's a connection to? And so I thought that was cool. So I was like, oh, Storyteller. We're both writers. That's a good one to have.
I felt like you were gonna do that. So like the one I got was like, I gotta find something.
I love it.
Yours is mine isn't as good as yours, but like
no way. No, it's perfect.
Yeah. So let's give it a try. So, like you said, man, you just got a new job.
Yep.
And it involves writing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm super jealous because that's all I really want to do. I want to get paid for writing. So how's that going? How are you feeling about it? I want to talk about 2 things that you said on Twitter.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about the first one, which is, you just wrote something that got shared 3,000 times.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's funny. So my new job is so we do kind of like content for a company that serves like real estate agents.
Okay.
And so real estate agents can like sign up and then they can basically get the content that we put out and then they can put it on their site and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's funny, all the stuff that I'll be doing is like unattributed to me, which is fine. Like that's not the whole, I mean, I'm getting paid to do this, so like, it's, it's whatever.
On the check clear.
But I mean the process, like I still like the process of doing it. And going through, and I knew nothing, like zero about real estate. Hopefully no, I'm just kidding. Because I hope no one watches this. But they know. Like that was we talked about that.
Yeah.
But it's there's something nice about not having any idea about something and then just getting. So we have like a research team and stuff like that, and they'll pull information, and you kind of like take that and like synthesize it into, and then you put like put out like a blog post instead of 500 words. But the sharing piece. So it was like, the agents that picked it up, they share it, and then anybody else who like shares it straight from the website, like those numbers count too. So it's just it's cool. Like I never thought I would be doing something like that. And especially in an industry that I'm like still super unfamiliar.
Right. Yeah.
But it's great. Like the company's awesome, and just the process too. Like just being able to just sit there and write something that someone's telling me to do. Has been kind of cool.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
All right, hopefully this is good. Okay.
Okay.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. It's a sharp taste.
Yeah, it's like. So I was reading the bottle, and it was like, what did it say? It was like oak and cedar, cherry, dark chocolate, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I always, whenever I'm like getting a wine, I always gravitate to stuff that wine that is not sweet.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that's just like a little bit sharper, or
okay.
Or like you said, you said it was sharp.
Yeah. So I don't like too sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I like. Scouts were okay. I just know I don't like very like super dark bold flavors.
Oh
typically.
Yeah. Whoops.
And this.
Sorry.
No. But that's the thing. I'm learning to try to figure out how to, which kinds I do like. Because I want to be able to have wines like what if I want to have like a big steak or whatever. I want to have that type of wine with it. So I've got to find the one that I like.
Yeah, it's tough, and I never thought I would like wine. I'm kind of being forced into it now because I don't know if you've had this, but I swear First of all, I always hated when people who are older than me would say everything changes like after you turn 30 or like whatever. Because I was like, that's dumb. Like you just gotta take better care of yourself. Like whatever. And then I turned 30, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess some things just really just happen like that. Like I can't drink beer anymore. I legitimately like I've started getting actually like not like sick, but like if I drink one beer at night, I will wake up with like the worst headaches, sinuses. Like it's awful. So now I've been switching more to wine because. I guess I don't have to drink anything.
That's
not
true.
Drink anything.
You don't have to, but.
Yeah, wine and whiskey has been what I've been going with, and.
That Japanese whiskey that you gave me was.
Yeah, was that the Hibiki?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Maybe that's why my sinuses are always messed up.
Dude, I'm telling you, it like happened overnight. Like I swear, we live in Richmond, so breweries and like everything like that. Like we would do that all the time in my 20s and stuff like that, and it just. I swear, like something just happened almost overnight, and it was like I just can't drink.
It's like a switch.
It was a switch, yeah. Hey. It's like you can't drink this anymore.
It's like, ooh, sorry, no renewal. It is expired. Stop drinking it, or else.
But I know other people who talk about that too. Like, I think it's pretty common with like spicy food and stuff. Mm-hmm. People will say like, I used to be able to drink spicy food, eat spicy food all the time.
So I just wanted to touch on something you said. You said that. You don't have any like experience with real estate.
Yeah.
However, they have the research team, and you're able to make something off of that. And as well as I do, like that's what makes a great writer, right? Is that you can take some information that somebody gives you, and then mold that into something like not brand new, but like in a different way.
Yeah.
So I think that's dope.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why, like, we were talking about writing prompts earlier. I have, like, such a love-hate relationship with writing prompts because I think in a way, so, I mean, something I haven't really talked about, like, a lot with folks is, like, I've had, like, intense writer's block for, like, the past, like, 6 years or something like that. Where, you know, it was a couple years ago where we did, like, the National Novel Writing Month. Mm-hmm. And I, like, cranked out, like, I got to, like, the goal, whatever, and, like, that was the last time, like, I had done, like, a significant amount of writing. And something that I learned was, like, writing prompts are, like, super helpful for that. But, and for that reason, right, where it's, like, you take something that someone else is giving you and you kind of make something out of it. But also, something I've, like, there's, like, a Reddit writing threads, or a writing prompts subreddit.
Yeah.
And, like, some of the prompts they come up with are so specific that it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, you just told everything. Like, I'm not just going to connect the
You're not
dots on
leaving
this
anything for the imagination.
Yeah, but for like, what I'm doing now for work, it is nice because it's basically, you know, there's these, like, data points. This is the trend. Like, here's the graph. Like, this is what we're seeing. The story we want to tell is, like, you know, if you're waiting to sell your house, you should sell it now because it's, like, gained a ton of value or something like that. Go, like, put those words together. And that I can do. Like, that I really, really like. And I think it goes to, like, it's more of, like, a journalistic kind of writing and things like that. So yeah, it's good. And it's helped, like, kind of kick my, like, my kind of writer's block, and that was one of the reasons why I was interested in this job anyway, was because I was like, I really want to do this. Like, I want to do more of this. I just haven't been able to, like, do it on my own, and I know that if I'm forced to do it, like, something will spark. And even if I don't, you know, go back to, like, you know, writing my own stories or, like, you know, doing whatever, at least I have the practice of doing it. Yeah. And, like, I can put my words out there. So.
That's dope. I didn't realize you had that kind of block, man.
Yeah. It was weird. I mean, there was just, like, a period of, like I said, like, 6 years that just, I don't know. It might be less than that. It feels like it was a long time. But yeah, I mean, it just, like, I don't know. It just kind of, like, shut down.
Yeah.
I don't know if that, I mean, I'm sure you experienced that too.
Yeah. It happens often, man. And that's why this past, like, June started, I was like, I'm just gonna force myself. So that's why I was like, I'm just gonna go on a month-long, like, writing spree. So I've written every day, except for one day when I had to edit. But I've written every day this month.
Dude, that's good.
So it's like, and I'm like, the thing about me is, I have writer's block, but I'm very meticulous. Mm-hmm. So, like, they always tell you, just write, don't worry about editing. I can't do that.
That's my problem too.
I have bad anxiety. I see something, I'm like, and I have to change it.
That is exactly my problem, and I think, I'm curious if this is kind of it for you, where you're, like, a little bit of a perfectionist about.
I think I am.
Yeah, like, about what you put down, and I'm like, I don't want to put something down that I know is going to be bad. People say, like, do that, like, your first draft is supposed to be bad.
Just go. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about word count. I'm like, dude. In my head, I envision stuff, so I'm like, this, and if it's not that, anxiety just shoots through.
It's tough, and it's, like what you were just saying, like, it's in your head. There's this weird thing that happens when you're writing where you'll have a very clear concept in your head, and, like, you can almost kind of, like, this is going to be really, like, metaphysical and whatever, but, like, you can feel kind of, like, what the words are supposed to be, and then you start typing it out, and you're like, that's not it. Like, it's not there.
Like you write it, and you're like, that's not, like, it's this, what I saw isn't this.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're like, and so you just stop.
Yeah.
You just stop, and you're like, days, weeks, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's rough, man.
It is.
Usually what ends up happening to me is I'll write something, I'll release it, and I'm like, I want to write something right after this. Every time, it never fails. I'm like, I want to get back on it and start writing again. I never do. I think, like, it takes, like, months.
Yeah.
For me to get started, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. It's just taxing, I guess, after completing the project.
It is. It's super taxing. It's exhausting to, like, I mean, it sounds weird to say like writing is exhausting, but it's like so mentally draining sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially like depending on what you're writing, you know. If what you're writing is like really heavy, it's gonna be you're just gonna be tired at the end of it.
It's very similar to exercise.
Yeah.
It's a mental exercise.
And I think there's something too where it's I can force myself to get up, go to the gym, go for a run, like whatever. Although I haven't been great about it like the past couple months, but I can do that and I can get in a rhythm with that. For some reason, forcing myself to just write is so much harder than that. I have no idea why, but it just is.
Well, I mean, life like that is just tough anyway. Just because you essentially are supposed to only have 8 hours to do other things. 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work. Yep. So you only have 8 hours to do that. If you want to work out, you gotta eat, gotta shower, you gotta do other things. So like, it's very little time.
Yep.
Dedicated. So like these last few weeks, I'm tired, bro. Like waking up, like the alarm hits, and I'm like, dang, 5 days of work. But I'm writing those nights too.
Yeah.
Then the weekends, it's like, I still, I drink or whatever, but it's like, can't get too crazy.
Yeah.
you gotta try to knock it out. So it's just exhausting, bro. But I gotta push forward, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the way. I mean, seriously, that's the way to do it. Is just like set a goal, and even if it's just write every day or hit this many words, whatever. Like, if you're hitting that, then you're on the right. You're on the right track. I just need to do that for myself. I think the other thing too, the more I think about it, there was a lot of like really stressful life moments, and then also my work was super tiring some of the times.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like the mental exhaustion from writing. I mean, I would come home just like my brain was just fried from work, and you just can't write like that, where you don't have the mental like capacity for it.
Right.
But yeah, man, I commend you for. I mean, you've published like so much stuff at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to. The first 3 were all poem collections, but even the 2 of the poem collections, like I built stories within them.
Yeah.
So that was something that I wanted to do, but now I'm trying to stick around into like story mode.
Yeah.
And so that's been my focus the last couple years.
What are you working on now, or do you not want to say?
So I mean, the Whisper book did well.
Yeah.
It did really well.
Good.
I didn't anticipate people wanting more of them, so
that's great.
That's what I'm working on now. I'm working on the follow-up to that. And I do have a poem thing that I want to do. It's gonna be short, but it'll be based around an anime. So it'll be like the poem companion to like I know what it is, but
that's awesome. I love that.
So I want to do that.
That's a great idea.
I want to do that. So it'll be great though. It'll only be like between 26 and probably like 30 poems, but it'll be short. I can just throw that whenever or whatever. So
I know you don't want to say while we're recording, but you have to tell me after.
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
I mean, you probably guess what it is.
Okay, cool. I probably know exactly.
You probably guess what it is. And then the next thing is, and you can attest to this. I forgot when I sent it to you, but a few years ago I sent you that manuscript I was working on. I gotta get back on that, man.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
I loved going through and like, I mean, first of all, I loved your story for that.
Yeah.
But I love just kind of going through and like editing, or not really editing. I guess it was editing.
It was editing, but it was also like good feedback because, and when I wrote that, it's like this is an anime.
Yeah.
This is essentially an anime.
Which is fine.
Yeah. Because I feel like that's the direction where Hollywood will go and like books will go.
Yeah. More action.
Yeah. So I was like, let me see if anyone else thinks this is good. And you were like the first person I thought. I was like, let's see if I sent it to you, and I still had those edits. I'm just waiting to dive back into them. Yeah. Because that's the one I want to shop around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna query that one.
It's good. I I liked what you. I like stuff that is more, like, especially now that I'm getting older. It's funny. During quarantine, lockdown, whatever you want to call it, I got super into Star Wars.
So you did the opposite of Cassie.
I did the opposite. Well, we both watched it. Like she was super into it too. Actually, just before we came over here, we watched like the latest Bad Batch episode, and I didn't realize. So I always had like in my mind, and I don't know if you were like this too, like as an English major. I don't know if there was ever a point where you felt like really pretentious about like books that you had to read or like that you wanted to read, where it was like this has to be like a novel of like importance or something. No.
Nah. It just has to interest me. Like you have to like draw me in. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to draw me in.
So I had a little bit of that where it was like the last book series I had read was like the Game of Thrones books, and then I just kind of like took a break from that too. But so with the Star Wars thing, I didn't realize like I always kind of thought those books would be like the books in the Star Wars universe would be like poppy and not worth my time. I don't think I actually thought that, but like I think in the back of my mind I probably had that a little bit.
I get it because it's like it's popular culture, like uber popular culture. So you're automatically thinking, oh, this is about to be awful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the reverse of like Game of Thrones because people don't understand that the books came first.
Yeah.
Like people really get confused by that. Like, oh man, have you read the Game of Thrones book? You mean the stuff that the TV show is based off of?
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I can see why you think that though.
And what's funny is I've read like 5 of the books in that like universe now, and that's all I want to read now.
Yeah.
Like they're so good, and they're like action, like there's a lot of like character driven stuff, but I mean it's a sci-fi thing, and so there's a lot of action that happens with it, but I like just fucking love them.
Yeah.
And I'm all about them. I spent way too much money on books over the past like couple months.
Right. My man cave is filled with books.
Yeah.
And you know why, and you know who.
Yeah.
So I've been in that life for years now.
But no, but yeah, I was gonna say I think I definitely I like more action oriented stuff now than what I thought. I mean, I think that there's this. I don't think I looked down on like the beach reading novels or like whatever, but I think I definitely had an opinion about them.
Yeah.
But like who cares anymore? Like I'm just like if it's good, if it like you said, if it catches my interest, then that's what I'm gonna read. Really. Yeah.
The other tweet that you had said that I wanted to get back to was, and it was important to me because like I don't talk about the place that I've employed at. Like I never say the words, like ever, and I never will.
Yeah.
But you had highlighted how changing your job really helped with your mental health and like your anxiety and stress and stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about that, 'cause I think that's something that people always say like, hey, if you don't like your job, just change your job. But like, bro,
it's not that easy.
Checks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like situation, opportunity, like it's not that easy.
Yeah, you can't just change your. Yeah, it's funny. I saw someone else had tweeted and they were like, changing my job has done more for me than therapy and taking medicine and stuff. And I was like, that's a little too far.
Stretch.
Yeah,
well, you can see where they were going.
Yeah, but I was like, I do agree. Like when I made the change, it's funny. It's funny to think about. My last job, like the company itself, I think is a great company.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just the situation that I was in, and then I think it was the situation that a lot of other folks were in. And there was a lot of push to get kind of a lot of work done, extra work, different things like that. And I think especially when we started working from home, there was a big. Are you still working from home? Or are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this thing that happens when you're working from home where your kind of living environment becomes your working environment, and the day is
can't separate the two.
It's so hard to separate. And I mean, there were times in my last role where I can think of a couple distinct moments where I was like on PTO.
Yeah.
Something went wrong, and I was like called to like fix something, and I ended up working like basically the whole day for it.
Oh man, you made the first mistake I would have made.
I know.
You answered the phone.
And I think that was a little bit of the problem, right?
Yeah.
And part of that was with me, and I've like learned a lot about where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Don't answer the phone, I think, is the first thing I'm like learning. But also I think it was really, really indicative of just kind of the culture where it really felt like that was what was expected some of the times. You know, and I think there needs to be, like, it needs to be said, if you're not expecting someone to answer the phone, you wouldn't be calling, right? Yeah. And so there's a little bit of that too, and something, I mean, how I function a lot of the times is, you know, I think especially in that job, there was a level of, you know, I'm expected to do X, and sometimes that was very murky because my role did a lot of different things. Yeah. And so I think I kind of internalized, like, my role is just expected to do whatever they ask me to do. Yeah. And so there was a bit of that kind of crept in. But yeah, I mean, I think kind of going back to kind of the mental health piece, I mean, we don't realize how much time we spend we probably do realize how much time we spend at work. It's like too damn much.
It is.
And it shouldn't be as much as it is. That's another tangent. But you spend so much time there, and if you're not happy there, it's just going to drain you. I mean, like that's what I was talking about before, where I would come home and just be like so drained, like not enjoy stuff.
Like you're I don't want to say like whip, but like, and I don't want to say force, but you're placing yourself in 40 hours of stressful like living, right?
Yeah.
And you want to, like, in your mind, like, I tie this, I want to leave, yada yada yada, because like I got a family, I got bills, I got stuff like that. So it's like it's hard to make that move without a justification of like you're always putting something in way, like, oh, I can't because it has to be higher paying, or I can't because this, that, and third. So it's like you internalize, like, I need to create an obstacle for myself to make me stay here.
Yeah, I actually, when I switched jobs, like I am making less money now than I was in my last position, and I'm totally fine with that. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you can come up with so many different reasons as to, and I did that for so long. A lot of the times it's just kind of there's and I don't know if your job's like this, but in a lot of companies, they set you up in teams, right? And so you work in like a team-oriented culture. Yeah. There's a reason for that, and part of that is companies know that you become closer to the people that you're working with that are on your team, right? Like they're going to be your friends. In a good situation, they're going to be your friends. Right. Even at worst, like a lot of the times, you're just like, this is the person I work with. If I don't pull my weight, then they're going to have to do extra stuff. That's done so purposefully because the last thing you want to do is let down people that you care about. Yeah. And so there was a lot of that too. And you know, I think it's obvious when companies like set you up and those kind of. It's nice like to work really closely with people and have that, but at the same time, you know, I don't want to I shouldn't feel like if I'm taking a day off that I'm letting someone who's making the same amount of me or less or whatever like do extra work. Like the company, like it's the company that should take care of that.
Companies are really funny about PTO, man. Like
yeah.
They tell you to take time off, but then like request it. They like give you like a third degree about it. Yeah. And I'm like, so wait, do you want me to take it or not? Yeah. Like it's like you're there's always this disconnect between people here who get all the praise and stuff and the people actually do work.
Yeah, that was a big thing. That was a big thing for me too. And it's funny. I'm actually really glad that I'm in a I'm in a role where I don't mind. I just do the work, and it just gets put out as like the company.
Yeah.
Because like, it shouldn't matter, right? Like whose name's attached to it. But yeah, man, there's so much of that happens in like company cultures and things like that. And that was something that I had a big problem with. Was it really felt like a lot of the stuff we were doing wasn't for the betterment of the company or for people that we worked with. It felt like someone had an idea and they were going to push that idea forward, and they were really ambitious about like being the one who like set this into motion. Yeah. And I can't deal with that. Like, I'm very much the type of person who's like, is this what needs to happen? Why? And if you're saying it is, why?
I'm a big why guy.
Huge why guy.
I'm a big why guy. Listen, this is fine.
Yeah.
If this is what you want to do and this is where we're going, that's cool. I need to know why.
Right.
Because if I don't know why, I don't feel comfortable doing it.
Yep. I'm the same way. And when you get stuff that's just kind of like, especially, so the thing that would always drive me just up a wall was when you would get like a directive that was kind of coming down, and like everybody was like, this isn't the right way to do this, or this isn't gonna work, because we do the work, and the people who are like coming up with the decisions don't do
They're not in the trenches.
Yeah.
They're not in the trenches, and I'm like, I promise you, this is not how we do this.
Yeah.
And I know because I do this every day.
Yeah.
Every day. So just, I don't know, man. I always feel like the people that they put over teams or over people, I always say they have no idea how to do the job.
Yeah.
They're just there to manage people. And I get it, you're a manager, but in my mind, you should at least know how to do things in case something went wrong.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really, really lucky. I've had more, I think, good managers in my like time working, even going back to like when I was 15 and working. I've had more good managers than bad managers.
Yeah.
And the thing that always sticks out to me about the people who are good managers, they are people who were promoted from positions when they were doing the stuff before. Every single manager that I can think of that I'm like, that's a great example of a good manager, knew what it was like to do the position that they were managing. And even if they didn't, even if they were like, now they're overseeing like a bunch of different positions, they were in one of the positions like to kind of start off, and they worked with the other ones.
Right.
Like, so they understand the process, they understand what, and more important than even the process, it's like what people go through day to day. Knowing that, like, that's the most important thing, I think. Because you can empathize with the people that you're working with.
Right. You understand what they actually are going through.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have to go to you with a problem or a thing, and you just be like, oh, well, this, that, and the third. Like, give me like some off, like, explanation. But then I'm like, you didn't solve my problem.
Right.
You didn't solve the problem. You explained what's happening, but you didn't solve my problem.
Yep. And also too, I think that there's a certain level of managers like that will take more of an interest in the people that they're managing.
Yeah.
And I always like any of the managers, like I said, that were promoted like from that was the thing that they all had in common too, was like, even I was working at Radio Shack when I was in college, and one of the things that the good managers did was, we would get like a certain amount of commission, right, from like sales. I only worked weekends, so like my commission was like super low.
Yeah.
And like the good managers would just be like, and because they also got like a commission based on like the total store sales.
Right. Yeah.
But they could essentially double dip if they sold like something that gave like $50 commission. They would get that plus like the store total.
Yeah.
The good managers would just be like, this is your sale, like you just ring them up, like put it under you.
Yeah.
Because they know that like that's part of your paycheck.
Yeah.
The not so great managers, and I had a couple like at Radio Shack, would just not even care about that. They would double dip like all the time and like just take that money. But yeah, I mean, I think going back to the mental health piece, like it's so great example. So I was talking about how there's that time when, I was supposed to be off and I ended up working like an entire day. I have worked at this new job. I have like spent a couple extra hours like in the evening like trying to get stuff written. Not because I feel like I have to, because I like want to get it done, and like I just feel good about it. Like I either have the thought in my mind and I just want to get it on paper, or like whatever. And we do something. They do like a mental health Friday where everybody gets a Friday off every month.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is just wild. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened in this company where I'm just like, wait, really? This is a thing that people do? So my mental health Friday was yesterday, my first one, and there was like a deadline that I was like supposed to have something turned in, and I was like, look, I just want to get like feedback on this, thing. Can we just meet? Not like, I know I'm supposed to be off, but like I really want to get this done. So that I can get it turned in. And they were like, I don't feel comfortable with that. Like, you're supposed to be off. Like, be off. And eventually I ended up talking to them, and I was like, I'm gonna feel worse if I don't do this. So like, just let me do it, and it'll only take me like till like 11 or whatever. They're like, okay, you have the option. They're like, you have the option to not have this done till Monday. Like, it's fine. And it was just like a complete 180 of like, instead of being like, we need you to do this now, it was just kind of like,
like, dude,
we'll adjust.
Wait till Monday.
Yeah, wait till Monday. Like, it's fine. And it was, that was just like eye-opening for me.
That's good. That's good to be somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Where like they actually care.
Yeah.
About you outside of work.
It's funny because there's a lot of stuff that I was talking to Derek about this, and there's been like so many things that are just like really silly things that if I was in my last job, if they happened, I would just spiral and just be like, this is so annoying. Why are we doing this? And like one of them, like the simplest thing is like people were like, Happy Friday or something like that, and I was like, this is weird. I feel like this is something that would annoy old me at my last job, but I don't care. Like, this is fine. Like, Friday, yeah, whatever. Like, it's funny, like, how just like a change of scenery and a change of people can just
change your entire.
It can change your entire outlook. Like, it's been really nice. And I mean, I've only been there for a month, so things could change. But
obviously,
everybody that I've talked to is like, no, this place is legit. Like, we love it here. So I mean, I'm excited about it.
That's good, man. I'm glad. I'm always happy when people that get new jobs and make changes that like better their entire like life.
Yeah.
Not just like financially. Because financially, you can offset that with anything. But like from a stress and anxiety level, that's always good for me because
and it's funny because there's a lot of times where I was like, I know I'm like way more stressed and having like way more anxiety than I should, and I just kind of was like, but I mean, I gotta get a paycheck. I gotta keep doing this, and I know how to do this job. My next job, I might not know how to do it. They might not train me, and there's a lot of those thoughts that happen when you're like not sure. You're like looking to switch jobs, and again, I know not every place is going to be like the place that I'm working at, but they've trained me. Like, they've done a like really good job of like doing like orientation and stuff like that. And I think as a person who like struggles with anxiety, of anytime like there's something new, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I figure every time that's happened, I figured it out. Like, I have to remember that, and I think a lot of people have to remember that. Like, you just figure it out. You find a way to figure it out. So
we can get inside our own heads. It's so easy to do.
Yep.
All right, man. Let's get into some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Now you said you had a question for me.
Oh.
So
right.
I'm interested in this, and then we can get into whatever list, whatever thing you want to do. We're gonna go at it.
All right. So I know. So first off, I guess I'll ask this part of the question. What are your thoughts on like some of the shows from our childhood being remade? And then I have a part 2 for that.
So I'm not the big. I've always said this. I've always said that Hollywood has gotten stale because all they're doing is just taking old shows and just rebooting over and over. And if they're not rebooting them as cartoons, they're rebooting them as live action. I don't know if you saw the Powerpuff Girls getting a live action. It's on the CW, which CW has some decent shows. I think they had Arrow and Flash, right?
Arrow, Flash, even like I would even say Smallville is good.
So like that's not bad, but it's like when I saw like the pictures, I was like, oh, this is about to be terrible. They had to redo it.
They did the same thing happened with the Sonic movie. Remember?
Oh god.
And
they say that bullying is bad. Listen, we bullied them into a good movie.
Look, here's my thing. I'm not like I don't subscribe to many conspiracy theories, but I definitely wonder with the Sonic movie if they didn't like put the image out there or like intentionally like do something that was like not great looking and then just to have an easy win to like change something.
It could have been this guy.
Yeah, like I something makes me wonder about that to like I don't know soften the blow kind of like what the movie ended up being like at the end because I'm sure like you saw the movie and was like this was great.
That was a really good movie.
Could you think of what this would have looked like with the other Sonic? Like I wonder if there was some level of that.
I wonder if somebody was just like and it was like, yo, this is not a great Sonic. We're gonna put it out. All right, put it out to the public and see what happens. Let's see what happens.
That's what people said.
It's like we will. 2 hours later. Yes, I'm gonna need y'all to do this all over.
We need to remake this.
We need to do everything over. Keep the story, but everything else has to go away. He looks horrendous. But yeah, I mean, so the thing is, there have been some remakes and reboots that are okay, right? Like Scooby-Doo gets remade every other year.
Yeah.
It seems like, and there have been some good ones. Mm-hmm. There have been some decent ones.
There's been some. I would say like even like great ones that they've done. Like some of the more recent ones have been like.
Yeah. But then there are just some shows where you're like, do we really need it?
Yeah.
Was this necessary? Like they redid like Thundercats, but they did it in like a similar to how Teen Titans is.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Let's.
There's so my thoughts on this. I'll pose the question as well. But my thoughts on this are, I've become much more in the camp of like, there's certain things where I know I'm just gonna not like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna avoid it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'll keep my original here. This will be mine, or not mine, but you know what I mean. This will be the one that I watch. I'm just not gonna try this out. So like, I think where I am on remaking stuff is kind of like they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna if something looks interesting, I'll check it out. Yeah. If it doesn't, then you know I'm just gonna.
It's there for someone.
It's there for someone. Yeah. So all right. So here was my question. Because I knew I remember you tweeting about like the Powerpuff Girls one.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, is there a show like a '90s cartoon that you think, if they remade it, would be better than what it was when it originally came out?
That's a good question.
And I don't know if I have an answer either, so I didn't really think much there.
That's a great question. And just to preface, it would be basically similar to the storylines of the first series.
Yeah, they're
not gonna like throw them into like an adult situation or anything like that.
I think it's whatever, right? Like it's either they could change like they could change it to live action or actually I think there's probably some categories of like this show would be great if they remade it as a live action show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for the most part, it's not gonna be you're not gonna get a gory Courage the Cowardly Dog, right? Although maybe.
Which, no, that's a great idea, by the way. I think Doug. I think
that's so funny. I was thinking that too, but then I was like, I don't know. So why Doug?
So I feel like you can throw like the modern day adaptation to it. So because he's in middle school, you're still gonna have those anxieties, right?
Right.
You're still gonna have those anxieties. You're still gonna have this crush on the girl or whoever. You're still gonna have bullies. You're still gonna have to learn how to navigate everyday life. I don't see why that. Or as told by Ginger. That's another one. That's another one that I think would be better. Oh man, that's a really good question. I've never actually thought about that. But I would say those two.
I like the idea of Doug because I think with Doug too, there's a whole level of. I mean, Doug with a cell phone, right? Doug on like social media, like there's like some layers that you can kind of like build into that. Yeah, I like that. When I was thinking about it, for some reason, I don't know why this one stuck into my head, but so I kept thinking about what was a show that was like maybe not the greatest when we were younger. That if they remade it, they could just kind of make it better. And for some reason, Cow and Chicken was the one that kept popping into my head.
You didn't like Cow and Chicken?
So it was fine. Like it was fine. But I feel like, all right, so if they did Cow and Chicken now, they would just be able to punch up the humor so much more.
Oh my God, they would. First of all, it wouldn't be on Cartoon Network.
Right.
Throw it on Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Then you get all the things that you were throwing in the cartoon that you really shouldn't have been in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
You can just do it there.
Yep. I honestly, and I know that we both love this show. But I think similarly, if they did Rocko's Modern Life, a remake of that, I don't know if it would necessarily be better, but I think they could do more with it if they put it if they did like an Adult Swim version.
So did you watch the movie?
No.
The movie that came out on Netflix?
Oh, do they have a new Rock? Oh, I didn't even.
It came out like 2 or 3 years ago, where it was years later, and it's based around Mr. Big Head's son.
Oh, interesting.
And he transitions to a woman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot what it was called, but I enjoyed it.
Cool.
Because it still had that feel of like Rocko.
Was it the same animation style?
Yeah, I think it a little bit updated, obviously with newer technology, but yeah, same time.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah,
I didn't realize they did that.
Yeah, I liked it.
That's cool. I know that they did like a more recent Hey Arnold movie.
Oh, that was great too. But
Yeah.
Oh, I love little different styles or whatever, but the kids got older. I wouldn't mind watching that again. Like if they did another season of that, I wouldn't mind that.
And that's another one too I was thinking of as well, because like Hey Arnold did like a lot of. I didn't realize this when I was watching when I was younger, but like there's a lot of like diversity in that show, which is
it's insane.
Yeah, it's great, and I think like even now they could kind of do
so much stuff.
Yeah.
So
that falls into the category, I think, along with Rocko's Modern Life, where it's like they're probably not going to top the original, but they could do something different.
Right. They could probably reach the same level, but just update with like different things that have gone on since that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doug's an interesting one too. I think Doug. It still blows my mind that Doug was set in Richmond, or not set in Richmond, but
it was based off of it.
Based off of Richmond. Yeah. Richmond it was Funnytown, right? It was Bluffington.
Yeah.
What's Funnytown?
Funny is just his last name.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, Bluffington. So Richmond is Bluffington.
Yeah, that's. When I found out, I was like, really?
Yeah.
And I thought about, it
kind of fits.
Yeah, I get it.
It kind of fits. Yeah. That would be an interesting one if they did. I don't want to see a live action Doug, but if they
did it in the style that they do, what are those shows? Riverdale?
Oh, that would be great.
That would be kind of dope.
Oh,
that would be kind of dope.
Yeah, I would love that actually.
Yeah.
Cassie loves Riverdale. Riverdale is have you watched it?
Anna watched it. So every now and again I pop in and I'm like, oh, what's going on now?
Do you do this? Like, will she be watching it and like something you like walk by the TV and the weirdest thing imaginable is happening and you're just like, what is this show?
Because you're like, wait, what?
This is Archie, right?
Why is there a biking gang?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
I love I love what they did with Riverdale, and they were just like, okay, let's just.
The other show is the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah.
So I like that. Like it's telling this story of Spring Teenage Witch, but from a different. You know what I'm saying?
Way different. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So if they did that with Doug, that might be alright. What do you think about shows though, from our childhood again, where it's like, could they be remade again, based on the times like that? So for the perfect example, Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Like if they were able to reboot that, they would have to do a lot of tweaking, you know?
Johnny Bravo, yeah. Man, I there's so much about that show that definitely, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of stuff that would fly necessarily. So I think Johnny Bravo, you would go in one of two directions with it. One, either you just
snatch that element from him.
You recognize like there's some problematic elements of this character, or you kind of do what some shows claim to do, which is, well, this character's supposed to be the buffoon, which I think that there is an element of that to Johnny Bravo, where it's like you're not necessarily supposed to idolize him, but
like you acknowledge he's a moron.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
And so you can either lean more heavily into. I mean, I think of like the classic examples of that are like Family Guy. Like Peter Griffin is supposed to be the idiot. Like, so you can have him say stuff that's not great. I don't know if I buy that a lot of the times, but
even with Quagmire.
Or Quagmire.
I feel like I even feel like they toned him down a little bit.
They had to
from his earlier.
Yeah, I mean, in like, I think for good reason.
Right.
But like, it's one of those things where I feel like they used to try to get away with stuff because they were like, oh no, you're not supposed to like this character.
Right.
It's like, but people watch this and they do like the character, and I think there's some like really interesting examples of that, where there's characters that are like, no, this is the bad guy. Like, this is, you know, you're not supposed to agree with it. Like the Joker, right? Like in Batman, where there's this whole culture, not to get too deep on stuff, but there's this whole culture of, you know, certain types of guys who idolize the Joker.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you understand that, like, the Joker is bad.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
like, relax. Let's not cheer for him.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's some problems with Batman too, but like the Joker is legitimately like, you're not supposed to like him.
Batman's a funny character.
Yeah.
I can't kill. No, you are sending people to the hospital.
I can't kill.
Like,
I can put someone in a coma
with horrible injuries.
Yeah. Again, there's some issues with.
You have an interesting line, brother.
Yeah. I love characters that have a hard line, and it's like, I didn't kill him. It's like, look at the guy. Like, what do you mean you didn't kill him?
He is traumatized for the rest of his life, buddy. Okay, let's get into this other wine. I got Da Vinci.
Okay.
Because that's actually one of my favorite books. The Da Vinci Code is like one of my favorite books.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was one of those things in high school where my teacher, I think it was Mr. Flynn, my high school English teacher, said we're gonna read Da Vinci Code. I'm like, all right. I'm really gonna read this, Bruh. Now, I was outside kid, like, oh, I'm outside for hoop, I got that book. I read the first couple chapters. It was a point where I wouldn't put it down. Like, I was just sitting in a chair for like hours.
I have to check that. Obviously, like, I've heard of Da Vinci Code. I never saw the movie or anything, but yeah. Is that Tom Hanks?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out because I never read it.
Yeah, it was good, man. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to do something with a book. So
I love it.
That was the one I went with. It's a Chianti. I have no idea what that means, by the way.
It's so funny because when I was looking at wines, I saw Chianti, however you pronounce it. I have no idea.
I'm guessing.
All I know is that apparently in Silence of the Lambs, the character says, apparently they say it wrong. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but yeah, I was looking at those because I was like, I never actually had one.
Yeah.
And I almost picked one of those up, so I was like, oh, this would be cool. But I saw the Storyteller, and I was like, that's something I gotta get into.
Don't worry, I picked it up, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna give it a try. Alright. Oh yeah, we got that. Come on.
Oh, the cork.
Yeah. sniff it. I like this.
Yeah, you gotta get the smell. I don't know. I don't usually sniff my wine, but I feel like we're on a wine podcast, so
Bro, I'm always doing it.
I'll pretend like I know what I'm doing when it comes to wine.
So it's called Clueless Vino. No, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
How many wines have you had at this point, like that you wouldn't have had?
Oh, I wouldn't have had?
Yeah.
All of them. Like, that I wouldn't have had? There are some where I'm just like, I probably wouldn't have bought this. But, you know, I'm a dude that's willing to try anything. Man.
Yeah.
Well, you know, give me a reason.
Is there one that you've had so far that you're like, this is 100% gonna be I'm gonna get this every time?
Oh yeah, there was one. It was like a German one. It was a German Riesling. That jump was outrageous.
Nice.
Like I need to go back and get it. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, that's
Okay.
it's lighter. I feel like.
Yeah, it's definitely lighter than the first one. Says crimson red with intense aromas of ripe fruit and hints of fresh strawberry and plum.
Oh, strawberry and plum.
Okay.
I can kind of taste the strawberry.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Those are also two fruits I would not eat.
Really? I don't like plums, but
So strawberries, I'm not a big fan of the pits that are in them.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
the little seeds or whatever. And plums, yeah, nah, just nah. Let's get into some top fives, man.
Top five. Oh
This
god.
This is gonna be big. Top 5 cartoons, essential cartoons from Tommy Proffitt.
Essential, like so. All right.
It doesn't have to be your favorite, but your top 5 essential. You need to watch these cartoons.
I'm gonna leave anime off.
That's fair.
Okay.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
We'll jump into that after this.
So, top 5 essential cartoons and stuff. It's so funny. So I had mentioned Derek, their podcast. They do like an Ask Me Anything all the time, and I knew they hate doing like top 10 lists. So I sent them. I was like, just do a top 10 list or something, like of anything. And then now I'm like, oh god, I have to do a top 10 or top 5 list. All right, so I don't know if I can put them in order, but here are the 5 I would say.
Okay.
I'm gonna include adult animation.
Fair.
So I think 5, which is one that would if I like gave this list to myself 10 years ago, or probably longer than that, 20 years ago, I would be like, what?
Yeah.
King of the Hill.
Okay.
So when I was younger and I watched King of the Hill, I was like, what is this show? There's nothing funny about this.
Yeah.
And then I watched it again when I was older, and I was like, this is for me. Like this.
It's very slice of life.
Slice of life. You've seen the memes that are like, King of the Hill is just Texas anime.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's something about that where it's just like, I don't connect with these people at all, but this is funny. Like, there's some stuff going on. I've grown to appreciate that like way more. I think that was, of the the Simpsons is obviously like the pinnacle of adult cartoons. Say what you will about like how long it's gone on, but I think like right behind that, for me at least, is King of the Hill. I think there's just something to it. I would say 4 would be, man, this is tough. I think Hey Arnold.
Okay.
Would be 4.
I'm not mad at that pick at all.
Hey Arnold is just, I mean, we talked about it. There's just so much, like, it's very character driven. The city itself, what I love about it is like the city itself is
a great setting.
Yeah, it's a good setting. The animation style, especially the earlier episodes, like I love rough animation.
Yeah.
There's been a trend with more recent cartoons where like everything is like fully animated, whereas like when we were younger, there was like the background, and then there was like the characters and stuff.
In the front,
and there was a weird mix in Hey Arnold. I feel like there was I don't know, everything felt natural, but you could definitely tell there was still like the background and then the foreground.
Yeah.
And I really like the animation style in it. Also, again, the characters. What's great about Hey Arnold is that until you get into like later seasons, I don't feel like Arnold. It's very much like Arnold is just kind of experiencing things.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the other characters are more not important, but like you get a lot more of like other character stories.
They drive a lot. They drive a lot of the side characters. A lot of the episodes are side character driven. Like stuff happens to Arnold, but it's more about the people around Arnold.
Yeah.
And then they go to a 9-year-old for advice.
Yep.
Which, that's normal.
Yeah. But you know what? I think 9-year-olds, they can give great advice.
Very honest advice.
Yeah. They can also give terrible advice.
Yes.
They can give great advice.
Yes.
But yeah, I think there's something about that. Also, just like there's some like weird stuff that happens in Hey Arnold as well. The sound in that show too. They have like a lot of like I don't even know how to describe it, but there's just like weird sound effects and stuff that happen.
Yeah.
Also, like when does it take place? The cars all feel like they're out of the 1950s. But
it does. Like station wagons. It's like, dude, really?
And then there's like Dino Spumoni, Dino Spumoni is terrible and abusive apparently. If you listen to the lyrics of his hit song,
You better not touch my gal or I'll pop you in the kisser.
Well, there's that. But then there's
the
also
other one?
You left my heart in pieces on the floor, so why shouldn't I break something of yours?
Yeah.
What?
He is a wild dude, bro.
So he talks about like just breaking all of her shit. Like what?
And you know what they're doing?
Yeah, it was catchy.
Like, oh shit.
But yeah, then like Dino Spumoni is this like crooner, like so
straight out of like the 1930s.
Yeah, so like when is this show taking place? I don't know. So yeah, so I like that. I think it actually also, funny enough, I think King of the Hill and Hey Arnold have a similar vibe where it's like very slice of life.
Yeah.
So I think that would definitely be on my list. 3. All right. I don't know if you ever watched this, but this was an Adult Swim show. One of the first Adult Swim shows, I feel like.
Okay.
Home movies.
So I never got into home movies, but I am familiar with home movies.
So I almost said Metalocalypse.
Okay.
But so Home Movies is the same creator, Brendan Small. And there's just this like, it also had H. John Benjamin, who's Bob's Burgers, Archer.
Okay. Yep.
Like that was like his, I don't know if it was his first like big thing, but he was Coach McGurk in that show. And the animation in that show is super rough, intentionally, but also maybe because they couldn't do the animation well. I don't know, but it's like perfect. That show, I think you would really like that. So the concept is, it's these 3 kids. I have no idea how old they are. They're like maybe like they're between 5 and 12.
Yeah.
Who knows? And they make home movies, and like it also just kind of like takes them through like their day and stuff like that. And it's really good. I think it like I watched it when it was like the perfect time for me because I was, how old were we when Adult Swim first came out? Like 14, 15?
Yeah. In that weird teen age.
And like the show's not angsty or anything. It's just like this weird humor that just like I connected with like incredibly. I highly recommend. There's some great episodes from that I quote all the time. There's like and it's just like weird situations. Like they do a play and the coach. It's like this play about like this hot rod driving guy, and the coach is like really into it. Who's H. John Benjamin, and he's supposed to drive like his car on stage and he can't get his door open, and so there's just this scene where he's singing a song, but it's like they do like the sound where he's like muffled behind like the window, and it's just, I don't know, every time I watch, I'll rewatch that episode multiple times and just be like cracked up by it. But that one's great. I think that's super underrated too. And I think more people should check that out. So that was 3, right?
Yep.
I probably should be, whatever. 2, probably Adventure Time.
Okay.
Adventure Time is just, and this is me saying it, I think I still have like a season or 2 that I haven't actually finished watching it. There's just something about Adventure Time where you can watch it and like, just be completely de-stressed.
Yeah.
The voice acting is great as well. John DiMaggio is like one of my favorite voice actors. He's done just such great stuff.
Yeah.
So that would be 2, I think. And then 1 is honestly, like, if I have to be honest about it, is probably The Simpsons.
Okay.
Just because I watched it so much as a kid.
Yeah.
I can still like turn on seasons like 1 through 11 today and like basically quote everything from it. Yeah, I know that leaves like a ton of really good stuff off.
Listen, man, it's your list, essential list. I think it's a great list.
I'm sure there's something missing. I'm gonna like think back about it. Like, why didn't I say this? You know what? The honorable mention. Okay, this will be my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Would be a recent one, which is the Clone Wars,
okay.
the Star Wars TV show.
Yeah.
Absolutely, probably my favorite like story arc in the entire like Star Wars universe. Season 6 of that show is the last 3 episodes of that show are better than any of the movies, hands down. Like I don't feel like I'm overselling it.
Yeah.
They're better than any of the movies, and the characters so good. So that's my honorable mention. I just think that one in there.
Nice. I think I'll check out home movies in your honor today.
I think you would like that. Yeah. I think you would enjoy it. Especially the last season's really good. I'll be honest. I don't remember if it starts off. It might be one of those shows where it like doesn't catch its stride till like season 2 or something like that. But
a lot of shows like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people say The Office is like that.
Yeah.
Where like the first season, like, I get it, but then like once season 2 come around, you're like, okay,
yeah,
this show's taking off.
Parks and Rec. Have you watched Parks and Rec?
So I tried to watch Parks and Rec, and I was like, this isn't doing it, but everybody says
first season you gotta just throw it.
Everybody says
throw it away, but then it becomes honestly, all right.
Some people say it's better than The Office.
I'm one of those some.
Some people say it's better than
I think it's better, but anyway, everybody has their own opinion, but I think that's another one. If you want to check it out, get rid of season 1, just watch season 2, start there. Even season 2 is like, it's not really until, I think season 3 is when, what's his name? The 2 new characters get added who are like phenomenal. Ben is the character, and then, I can't remember the other guy, but he's a really famous actor. But you would enjoy it. If you like The Office, I think you would enjoy that eventually.
So, all right, I'm about to do that. Yeah, that's what everybody says. Season 1 is just, man, here at Clueless Vino, we like to rate our wines and see how much we like them. So,
okay.
We'll start with Storyteller. What would you give Storyteller out of 5 glasses?
This is tough. I just talked about how I just like to like things, and I'm like, oh, it's 5 stars. No, or 5 glasses. Yeah, I mean, I would give it. It's good. It's not great. I would say like 3.5.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's closer to like what I would normally like pick out as a wine. I think. So, yeah, 3.5. I think is good.
Okay.
What about you?
I give it a solid 3.
3.
I give it a solid 3. It's definitely one of those ones where I feel like I would enjoy it more like food.
Yeah.
I think I'll enjoy it with like a nice, like dark, like red meat. Which tell me I need to stop eating or cut back on. I'm not. I'll just exercise more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's one of those ones where I'm like the food would enhance it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So solid 3. Then we had the Vinci Chianti. What would you, or I don't know how the hell you're actually supposed to say it, but we're going with Chianti.
I would probably give that one I think I like the Storyteller a little bit more than that one.
Okay.
I like the spicy, has a little bit of bite. I would say that one's probably 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Still good, still solid.
Yeah.
I've never had a Chianti before, so I'm glad I got to see what it was about.
Maybe I could. Like 2.8, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't blown away. But it's something I could drink. Like, 1 glass of red wine a day. I could do that.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where like, casual wine. Like, let's just kick back. Had a hard day at work. Glass of wine. We good now.
That one is, yeah, you're right. That one's like easier to drink than I think this one is. Like if you're like, this is gonna be my one that I drink every day, that would be the one.
I think it's a good casual red wine. Tommy, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad to have you on.
Yeah.
This was fun.
I loved it.
This was fun.
I had a good
talk,
time.
man.
Yeah, for sure. Love making lists. Anytime we want to make some lists together again, I'm down for it.
Yeah. Cassie wants to be on again. She wants to just talk shit.
Dude, I would love to be, like, if you want to have me and Cassie on at the same time.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
She'll say something, I'll probably set the record straight. No, I'm just kidding. I'll say something and she'll set the record straight on me. Is the truth. But no.
Yeah, I would love to do it. We'll definitely talk about it because I love talking to you guys. But you guys are. I wish we would have hung out more in college so we could like nerd out like even more hardcore now.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, you know what though? There were so many things in college where it was what it was.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, we're living life now. Like, this is the best time to like, just do whatever we want.
That's true.
So we can hang out, we'll chill, we'll do the podcast again.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, man. Y'all got like y'all's.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say actually, she and I have been talking about. We're thinking about hopefully trying to launch something at the end of July.
Okay.
Maybe beginning of August.
Okay.
So yeah, keep an eye out.
Yeah, I would definitely have my eye out. You know what I mean? And then I'll bug you about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely keep us honest.
Yeah.
Why haven't I seen this yet?
Yeah. I am that guy.
Yeah.
I'll just let you know. I am that guy. This is the part where I let people, if they want to, get their socials out, they can do that, or you can give a closing remark. Just anything you want to say to the people before we head out, man.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm at awkward, comma. Follow me if you want to see me tweet about, I don't know, mostly just like nerdy video games, Magic the Gathering, sometimes like leftist propaganda, we'll say that. That's some of the stuff I tweet out about. But yeah, that's where I'm at. You can find me on Twitter. Also, if you're interested in Star Wars stuff, I tweet about that a lot. And then that's where we'll probably talk about if we launch our podcast in August. We'll mention it there.
I like that. But most importantly, don't forget, drink up. This happens every time. So we're good. At least 3 or 4 guests in a row. It's just like I had nothing. Like it's fine.
I did drink up.